Yes, he played basketball at Michigan State. Yes, he was athletic. Yes. He checks all those boxes in college. He has not checked those boxes in the NFL. So I would imagine after this wrist injury, once the offseason comes, he needs to go into the vault. He needs to get on the field. I personally don't want to see him talking. I want to see him doing work because he's just struggling in those areas.
Steve, it's time for another rookie report card. This is not a first-round pick. This is the 33rd overall pick of the Buffalo Bills, Keon Coleman. If you remember going back to draft time, it was going, when are the Bills picking a receiver? Oh no, let's trade backwards. Yes. When are the Bills picking a receiver? And I also think, before we get into your grades, situation is always extremely important in the situation you're coming into. And that's the part that I kind of want to keep an eye on as you're talking, as in when he was drafted, it seemed like Keon Coleman was their outside receiver, and that was about it, with a lot of talent in the middle of the field. What have you seen from Keon Coleman and the situation he has been thrown into? He has had the wrist injury, has missed a number of games with that.
Yep.
So that plays a factor into his rookie season evaluation thus far as well. But initial thoughts and evaluation of Keon Coleman, Steve.
This is a tricky one for me because I know he has a lot of potential on the upside. But he also, in my evaluation process in the draft coming out, the more and more he worked out, the further and further he dropped. People were a little bit perturbed. They were upset. They were accusatory of what I was feeling about him. People were also upset and disappointed that I had him dropping into the second round. And holy shenanigans.
What happened?
Where did he get drafted?
Check notes, second round.
I believe he's playing out of position. And I've stated this several times. And since I've stated, he's moved around a little bit more. They have him at X, which is a negatory. He's not an X wide receiver. He cannot create his own free access. At times, he's more quick than fast. He struggles to get off the line of scrimmage. He needs to learn how to be more savvy on the field. He's learned how to do everything off the field. Dude is hilarious. But the hilariousness is not going to last if you can't produce. He has too much movement at the line because he knows what I know he knows. He doesn't have the speed. And so he does a lot of things off the line that at the college level, he was athletically gifted.
Yes.
He's not athletically gifted in the NFL. He's just a dude. That's the problem right now. I like the way he played in college. I also thought some things in college that were going to be problematic for him, and that's where he has been. He only has been targeted because of injuries 36 times, 22 receptions for 417 yards for 3 touchdowns. But one of the things that's definitely something that's interesting is they talk about how much of a big target he was.
50-50 ball guy.
11 targets deep, running deep, 20-plus yards, ranking 30%. 11 targets, 4 receptions. When you're athletic and they targeted you deep 11 times and you only come up with 4 of those, the athleticism isn't there. Middle of the field, 10 to 19 yards, 22%. 8 targets, 6 catches. Ranking 33% of his production. A lot of his production, 66% of his production is in a short and intermediate game. And a lot of his intermediate game, a little bit below 42%, is 0 to 9 yards. A lot of things underneath and only really given 16 first downs. I believe they should move him to Z, give him an opportunity to move around a little bit because he's going to continue to struggle. And yes, he played basketball at Michigan State. Yes, he was athletic. Yes. He checks all those boxes in college. He has not checked those boxes in the NFL. So I would imagine after this wrist injury, once the offseason comes, he needs to go into the vault. He needs to get on the field. I personally don't want to see him humbly. Don't want to see him talking. I want to see him doing work because he's just struggling in those areas. So route running, I give him a C. Catching, early on, it was kind of like a D, but he's raised it up to a C. And then his athleticism at the NFL level is a C. In college, it was A, but in the C level. And I have some film to kind of show you how that athleticism isn't showing up and he's getting jammed at the line of scrimmage.
I think when you ask around, Steve, this is one of those instances where a player comes into the league, and obviously we're not going to be too quick with evaluations, but this is our rookie evaluation. We'll see what his career is in its totality. But when you ask around, this is one of those situations where a guy comes in who at the college level, like you said, is physically gifted, a 50-50 ball guy, a bigger guy. You mentioned the basketball background, can go up and get it. And then if you pair that at the NFL level with unrefined ability to run routes,
great word.
Does not, thank you, I appreciate that, does not allow you to go make those plays in the league. You can get away with it in the college level. But you did, and he definitely did. But if you don't have the route running to go along with those traits to get you in the position to use those traits, then that finds you in trouble. We'll see how the route running grows. We'll see how the technical side of it and the intricacies of it that you said he's got to work on, in a sense, how those develop. Then you can use the other traits that he has to help you out. When I ask around, a couple of things that jumped out at me. I love his personality. He's a whole lot of fun, but I haven't seen a whole lot this year. That was an executive from the AFC. Another one, just, I haven't been overly impressed with the player. What was specifically said there by a defense coordinator who's gone against him. When they need a play, whether it's third down, red zone, got to have it moment, they don't even look his way. That shows him, if they're not going to look his way in got to have it moments or key moments, then there's a reason why I'm seeing on the film that they're not looking at him.
Well, you're saying it the nice way. Let me say it how I want to say it. He ain't the guy.
He ain't the guy. Yeah.
That's the thing.
Here's the deal, people. All season long, you can win up to 1,000 times your cash. Only on Underdog. Pick higher or lower on your favorite player, and you can join the millions of fans winning millions this season. Sign up today using promo code UD89, and you'll get a free pick as part of your first cash entry, plus $1,000 in bonus cash. Again, promo code UD89 to cash in on every touchdown this season, only on Underdog. So, Steve, to wrap this up from the perspective of asking around the league, I talked to roughly a dozen kind of executives, coaches, GMs, that type of deal. And the interesting take with Keon Coleman thus far, and again, this is just through 14 games. He's only played 9, hasn't been on the field because of the wrist injury.
Not his fault.
They just don't see a whole lot to talk about. And it's for a variety of reasons. So, like when I would bring him up, Keon Coleman,
What's eh?
You know what I mean? Like, it's eh. They're trying to think of something to say.
Okay.
I haven't really seen anything. That's been kind of the consensus, is there hasn't been an impact. There hasn't been something that jumped out at us. Because, some of these guys I asked about, and we'll get to them. Lad McConkey. Baller.
Hey,
that'll...
Lad McConkey.
Lad McConkey. But you can tell a lot from just the initial reaction when you throw the name out. And as of right now with Keon Coleman, the only excitement that any of these people have had seems to be having a really good time. Seems like he's a lot of fun. In terms of on the field, not a whole lot of impact.
Look, if he's a third-round pick, it's not a big deal. But being a second-round pick and what has happened and transpired in Buffalo, and
thrust into the situation he was put into, you'd like some more impact out of it. Exactly. Yeah. I think the other part was early in the year when I had talked to teams that had gone against this team, it was we had, and I was told this directly, zero concern for the outside. Zero. No help, man out there, no problem. We'll put all our resources in the middle of the field. That's what we're going to do, because that's where the tight ends play. That's where Shakir plays. That's where James Cook can catch the football, or we're going to use those resources elsewhere. We do not have a concern. You go and make a trade for Amari Cooper for a reason, to help your team outside the numbers. I think all of this is building towards what you're saying, and we'll get looking at the film, but there needs to be some growth this offseason from Keon Coleman to make an impact within an offense to where you got to fight for looks, man. There's some players there.
And I think overall, though, long term, I think he'd be okay. I would say if things continue to trend the way he's going, he would be one of those guys that doesn't re-sign with his original team drafting him. And that isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I could see him playing a little bit better, maybe if he goes in a different situation and responsibility, maybe put in a better position offensively. And I think, he can have some better numbers. But
Hey.
here's a fact check. His rookie season, he's extremely better than me. I had 252 yards, but people didn't realize we were 1-15, and I didn't play wide receiver. I just was only allowed to do punt return. Happened to be a Pro Bowler as a rookie. But anyway, I digress. Let's get to the film. And seeing Keon Coleman. Roll tape. Keon Coleman going against a few players. See, this is what I'm talking about, too much movement. Watch how he's kind of herky-jerky. That's indecisiveness, trying to create free access, not going anywhere. That's a curl. Opens up the gate. I don't like opening up the gate. When you open up the gate, look how Josh looks at him. But the reason why Josh looks at him is he sees the linebacker that's chasing James Cook, so he knows that he has a stop or a curl. So that closes up the window. So it's not necessarily his fault that the window is closed. However, if he would have won immediately, I think Josh would have possibly looked, but the defense also moved with his eyes, so it's not his fault. I'm just critiquing and showing you some things of the examples of his going. Now, this is against Jalen Ramsey, and this is all I'm going to say. Before you run it, in the end, he wins, air quotes. But the problem is, Josh Allen wasn't looking at him at the end. He was looking at him when he needed him to win. And what did he get? Jammed. Not going nowhere. Look at this. Well, first of all, the snap is low. Josh drops it. Then he's looking. He's like, oh, can I give it to my big athletic guy? Hells no, you can't, because he's downstairs getting jammed, right? Getting that sourdough. But look, wow, that's great, but that wasn't the route. And look where Josh's eyes. Josh has already taken Keon Coleman out of the play. And these are the little nuances. You got to win the first route before a guy will start looking at the next level of the route. Down here at the bottom, there he goes. One of the things that I thought, he doesn't play fast. He kind of is like casual. He gets stuck in this route. Stuck. Look, way too many steps.
I get what you're saying.
And am I being critical? Yes. Reason why is prior to the trade for Amari Cooper, this is a guy that they said that was going to replace Stephon Diggs. He did. He hadn't replaced Stephon Diggs at all. This is what I'm talking about. Look, way too much. And this is rookie versus rookie. This is the kid from Clemson. That ain't winning, bro.
No. And
look at the quarterback. Quarterback is not even looking to his side. The quarterback is like, I'm playing 10 on 11.
Steve, can I say something? I'm not an expert like you. This looks like the route I would run in the street to try to get open.
Yeah, that is a street route.
With my buddies playing football.
Yeah.
Are these extra steps that he's taking in all of these routes, is this a bad habit? Is this a...
No, this is he's a fish out of water, and he's trying to get back in the water. He's trying to figure out how I can get there. And this is part of the process. This is where I know their coach is a really good coach for Buffalo. This is where coach is going ballistic. And you talk about his physical presence, his athleticism, and he tries to throw off the corner, and he isn't able to throw him off.
Yeah.
Again, that's what I talk about, where what you did in college does not translate to the NFL. Those guys lift as well. This is a good play. But look how much he gets ridden out of bounds and allows the corner to utilize the sideline to his advantage. Does he make the catch? Yes, great catch. But it doesn't need to be that difficult. And that's where he gets himself in trouble. Looking back too early as well. And so that gets your body opens up. So when you look back too early on a go route, that opens up and it gives more space between you and the corner, which the corner will utilize that extra space to kind of navigate and bombard you and guide you out of bounds. And that's where it becomes problematic. So my overall grade for Keon Coleman is a C+. Do you have a problem with that C+ based off some of the other grades that we're going to give some other guys as far as grade level? What do you think?
I think it's a little high.
Ooh.
I think it's a little high.
Well, here's why I can't give him a D. If I give him a D, then that...
Straight C?
Huh?
Don't go from a C+ to a C. You don't need to go all the way from C+ to a D. Oh, now he's getting his parents are getting a letter at home. You know, now he's not going to be able to go hang out, you know, with his friends.
Yeah, well,
when the D
if I
comes
give him a bad grade, then all of a sudden I feel like I need to be careful walking down the streets of wherever because then people are going to be upset at me. And
Bills Mafia is everywhere.
hey, bro, or I'm a hater for some reason. So for me, I give him a C+, right? Because I do see the athleticism, but I think there's some areas he needs to grow, and I think he's playing out of position. They need to put him in as Z, put him in the slot, put him in a place where he can get some motion, because if you continue to just let him play at X, he's not going to improve.
Fish out of water. You said it right now.
Yeah.